Hey everyone, this video will be explaining the concept of buoyancy. Buoyancy is the tendency of an object to float in a fluid. The buoyant force is also called thrust and it acts upwards opposing the gravity. The buoyant force depends upon two things. First is the density of the fluid and the second is volume of fluid displaced. Now understanding this more deeply using simulations. First of all, let's play with the density of the fluid. So if we decrease the density, we can see the object sinking down. That is, the buoyant force decreases. And if we increase the density of fluid, the buoyant force increases and thus the object floats on the water. We can see this here too. When we decrease the value of density, fluid density, the buoyant force decreases. It's around 1.9 Newton right now. And if we go to the other edge and increase the fluid density, the buoyant force is almost 11.76. Therefore, we can conclude that the buoyant force is directly proportional to the density of the fluid. The more dense the fluid is, the more buoyant force it will produce. Now, the second thing that the buoyant force is dependent upon is the volume of the fluid displaced. In this case, the volume of the fluid displaced is the part of the cube immersed in the liquid. If we immerse more part of the cube in the liquid, this means that more volume of water is displaced, thus the buoyant force will increase. If we immerse less part of our cube in the water, as you can see, the buoyant force decreases. We can see this from the free body diagram too. On increasing, the buoyant force is increased, and on decreasing, the buoyant force is decreased. Therefore, we can conclude that if more volume is displaced, buoyant force would be more, and if less volume is displaced, buoyant force would be less. Now we'll practically see what causes buoyant force and how all this works through a small game example. This game uses the concept of buoyancy. As we can see, the ball jumped into the water. Two forces will act on the ball, gravitational force and buoyant force. Since the size of the ball is not that big, the volume of liquid displaced won't be big enough to cause a large buoyant force to act in the opposite direction of the gravity to make the ball go upwards and float. Therefore, the ball is sinking. Now, if we increase the size of the ball, more amount of fluid would be displaced by the ball, therefore the buoyant force would increase. The buoyant force would be more than the gravity, that's why the ball is tending to go upwards. As the amount of fluid displaced by the ball is less, as it's immersed partially, the thrust and gravity get equal and the ball floats. This brings us to an end of the video. Thank you.